Thank you very much, and happy to be here to share with you some information about some view about what is going on in the market about big data and data analytics. This is the number, is a zettabytes, the number of data that we'll have in 2020. It's quite impossible to read and to understand which kind of a number is this one. And this huge amount of information, data, are coming from sensors, as Gerard Dambach said before. There is a sensor everywhere. There is a sensor in the plant, there is a sensor in your device, in my device. Of course, you get also and leave information every time you go through the web. This is another, of course, source of information. Now, today we have 3 billion of users, internet users, and the number is increasing by 55 million users per month, around 600 per year. It means that in few years, 2-3 years, everyone will be connected, will be in internet. This means to get a lot of information from internet, from the web, and of course to leave a lot of information, because every time you move with your digital with you move with your car, you go through internet, you leave information. You get information, you leave information there. So this is where we are in terms of data. But this data is a sort of tsunami. So you have a huge amount of information, quite impossible to read them without what? Without analytics. Analytics is a way how to read this information, how to get value from this information. So this is what is under analytics. So big data is a huge amount of numbers, and then analytics is the way to read this through algorithms that every day is developed by people working on this topic. And data and analytics, if you look at what Gerard Dambach said about the industry 4.0, this is what is going on in a plant. In a plant, you have today, everything is connected through the sensors. And the other point is, because this is what we need to understand about this digital revolution, is that we perceive today this digital impact by clusters. So once we talk about the industry, another one we talk about customers, then we talk about the finance, then we talk about the HR, the IT, the marketing. But what is going on is that everything is connected inside the company. Everything generates information, everything leaves information, and everything is connected. Because this is the real revolution of these digital technologies today, that in a company, everything is connected. It means that you can be connected with the suppliers and you can be connected with the customers in the real time. This changed completely the framework. Now, if this doesn't work. I'm sorry, I cannot move on with with the slides. Okay, it's fine now. Okay, so this is, this is what I want to focus on today. So this huge amount of numbers of information needs to be properly managed, because one of the risks of the concern about this big data is if you don't read them properly, if you don't have the right quality of the information, the risk is that you have information, the wrong one, to make the wrong decision. So it's also important, the quality of this information. Now, as I said, big data is influencing everything. It's influencing the strategy, because what was before about strategy, that you prepare the strategy every 5 years or 10 years, today is not true anymore. You need to review your strategy every day, and big data can allow you to get a lot of information and to properly review your strategy. But it's impacting also the performance, the measurement, the way you measure your business. And why this? Because all this data, all these statistics give you the possibility and then we move to the role of the CFO, because the CFO today is a guy responsible for the financial department, finance, administration, and control. And what is going on is mainly looking at the figures coming from the past, ex post. Based on these figures, he gives information for the future. But all this data, all this analytics, all this information give you the possibility to predict. And this changed completely the role, because if you can go to a predictive way, you are not just a cluster, a function supporting the business. You become part of the business. This is what is going on also in terms of risk, how to manage the risk. Again, the risk is not something that you measure after, but you measure in the meantime. And this is another huge revolution. And also the IT, the way we perceive the IT is that it's in a box, developing software or implementing software just to support data. This is a little bit wrong. Now, one of the solutions that we, in some companies, we are finding is that, okay, we have the CFO on one side, then we have the CIO on the other side, and then we, in some companies, we are appointing a digital guy. It's like a digital is another department. Is in another room, there is a guy trying to implement digital. This is not, in my view, is not the right view in my perception, because digital is impacting everything. Digital is impacting the business, as Gerard and all the other are saying, is impacting everything. And if we perceive this just a question of the IT, this is the mistake. And by the way, this type of meetings is important, because we need to talk also to the community, to the business community, and to the entrepreneurs as well. Because when sometimes I meet entrepreneurs and I talk about these kind of things, the first reaction is, yes, you need to talk with the IT guy. So it's not my job, this. Digital, nothing to do with my business. If I am a shoes maker, if I am in a fashion plant, digital for me is nothing. This is something belonging to the IT. Because there is no perception, real perception, awareness about what digital is for him in the day-by-day work. And so this is something that I believe that the CFO is in the middle of this, or should be in the middle of this, should manage this revolution inside the company. What is going on in the plant? Because we are talking about information, data, KPI, and the data that can give you the possibility to your firm to change and to improve. And as Gerard said before, is now the time to look at it, because the industry 4.0 that we 4.0 that we saw before, this started in Germany, in Hanover, in 2011, because this was the perception about the main German companies about how the digital would have impacted the production and the industry and the manufacturing sector. But the perception in some other countries was that this is something, again, belonging to the IT and not really impacting. But today, and you can see in this slide, in reality, what is going on is that we are reviewing the supply chain, as the horizontal view in the previous slides is the vertical impact as well, but we are impacting also the HR, is impacting also the big data and analytics, the marketing and the customer experience and so on. So why the CFO? Because the CFO can assure the quality of the information, can control the right flow of the information, and can interact. Talk with all the functions inside the company. And we believe that if the CFO, together with the CIO, will be part of this revolution, will manage this revolution, he will create value for himself, for his function, and for the rest of the company where he is in. This is just to share with you what is the perception of the customers today. This is one of the survey coming from EY. And you can see a lot of customers already believe that their personal information enables companies to make more money. 59% business decision maker using already customer-generated data for customer insight. And this is the most relevant piece, the company with the digital, that they have already implemented the digital tools or whatever, is overperforming their peers, outperforming by 20%. So this is what is going on. Now, just to close, just some example, because I believe that if we continue to talk about analytics, big data, without showing what this means, we get the people more confused, and we don't have the people on board. We don't have the people inside the company, the functional leader, the business unit leaders. We will not have them on board. So Tesco, this is an interesting case. What they are doing is they started to say, okay, the consumers inside a mall, they buy something or something different based on the weather. This was in UK, they started with this, but today it's true everywhere. It means that if it's a raining day, if it's a warming day or a colder day, people buy something different. And because of this, they started to put the things in the goods in the stock, in the mall, based on the weather. If you are able to predict what tomorrow you are going to sell in your mall, of course you can improve the inventory you have in the company and what you have in the mall as well. And this has created a benefit and saving of around 6 million. So this is just an example of what you can do predicting. I mean, having the information for tomorrow, for the next week. Another good example, this is coming from the SEC, is the regulator, US regulator body, and this is another interesting, they launched this AQM model, accounting quality model. It's better known as Robocop. This is the name of the tool. And with this software, they can scan all the management discussions that they can, of course, and they can analyze. And with this information, they can potentially predict fraudulent behaviors. So fraud is today is a lot more connected with the cybersecurity and with the web. And this is interesting because they are trying to predict this kind of behaviors through this. Another great information is Xerox, because you remember in the previous slide, there was an impact also in HR. Why big data and analytics are impacting the HR function, the talent management? Because again, today what we do is we recruit someone in the market, in our company, then we evaluate these people, then we reward these people, and then we have some attrition, somewhere people leaving the company. So you have a turnaround inside the company. Here, what the Xerox did, and now every company is trying to do, is that based on the information you have about a candidate that you are going to recruit, you have information coming from the social network where he is, by the university where he comes from, by a lot of information is living in the web and somewhere else, and also in the test. When you put all together with an algorithm, you can predict if this guy will be a loyal guy to the firm, will leave the firm in 1 year, in 2 years, will be more a market guy or another type of person. Based on the attitudes you can read through this analytics. This means that you can, again, also in the HR, you can predict if the people will stay or not. This, in the case of Xerox, has reduced the attrition rate by 20%. So it's a huge amount of a number. By the way, this is one of the issues also of my industry. Then we have another example about adjusting price in the near real time for 73 million items. This is another company, it's another example. And this is because it's based on the demand and inventory. So if you have all connected from the customer to the distribution, then the company, the production, and then the inventory, of course, you can reduce the flow, you can make this more effective and efficient. And this is the way you can save money, and this is an example. Then the last two ones, and then I close to give room as requested to maybe a discussion, is the Walmart and American Express are another two examples where through the analytics we have improved a lot what they do, or avoiding risk in the case of Amex. So Walmart, through the semantic search, as you can see in the slide, has improved online shoppers completing a purchase by 10 to 15%. So, and this is for what Walmart is selling online. And this is interesting, but this is billions of dollars, of course. The other one is Amex. This is interesting because the financial services sector, banking and insurance, is one of the sectors today mainly or impacted a lot by this digital revolution. And not only because of home banking, but because everything is changing in this sector. And it's interesting is that Amex can now identify, as you see, 24% of